in Western Mass.
Tyreek Hill posted on social media what appeared to be a peace out emoji in response to a post suggesting he could be traded. Have you spoken to him about this?
Whoa. Um, no, I have not spoken about alleged read-ins on social media. No, because he's been um, he's definitely been a face within our building in the time period of end of season before phase one starts. He's been in the building, more this year than the other years combined. Him and Robert Prince have spent a good amount of time together, and I think beyond that, who knows? Tyreek's known for like whatever antics on social media. He's entertaining and whatever. So we're in a good spot where if there's anything that I needed to know, direct communication would be executed.
It's likely to be disappointed if the team voted Tyreek as a team captain, given his antics from on out to trolling in social media yesterday. And if they did vote him a team captain, would you take that?
No, I think that's a great question because I think our team in that scenario, I think I would be pumped if he was voted captain because I think that Tyreek being accountable for who he is as a competitor and the what he's learned from in his journey. I think that means that his teammates have seen him completely that they're all healed. They've all as teammates fully embraced the whole process of hey, I'm a human being. This is wrong. This is right. This is how I want to do things. So to me, that would show, a healthy evolution because, anytime anything happens, it's very natural. Like you have teammates that you love. They do something that's, they regret or maybe that they wish they could have done over again. Well, then you give them the opportunity to prove otherwise, and I think that's what Tyreek's up for the challenge because Tyreek wants to set the standard of what type of competitors we have, so that. I think if we're in a spot like that, we're probably healthy in a way that would be good for the organization and all Flynn's Nation.
Can you say with certainty he will be on the team?
I mean, I can certainly say with certainty that at this certain moment, I think that's there. A lot of things can happen in the National Football League. So you throw absolutes out there, and then one, hey, you said this. I mean, but yeah, we are fully planning to move forward as a better version of our relationship with Tyreek and Ryan Dolphins. So I have no reason to think otherwise.
Mike used the word accountable earlier when answering Chris's question about Tyreek. I mean, his most recent actions publicly were the I'm out thing and then some of the things he said on social media. So is there something maybe he said to you that tells you he's turning his corner and will be more accountable? Or
Absolutely. That's very fair, Hal, and I appreciate the how you kind of painted that picture. I would anticipate and totally understand. All right, the scope with which the fan base has a vision on, and what the in-house relationships are. I'm speaking from a place of that's a scar when it happens to you. It's what I talked about on my couch the day after the game with Tyreek. That's like, hey, that's something that we have now gone through. What are we going to do about it? And I see action. The phrase I use with players all the time is that I see better than I hear. And so the off-season connectivity, based upon my relationship and my experience in previous off-seasons, how he's been in the building, what he's been talking about. Um, I know what has been put on display during the regular season. We've had a fully attacking Tyreek Hill in the offseason, setting the pace, being the pace car for all the sprints, all of those things. And I fully expect to get a better version of that horse that was the reason that he was voted captain. And I think that's the biggest thing is all of there's been a lot of work that we don't go and publicize, but hours of human connectivity gives me the confidence that we're in a good space. And you know what? No one's entitled to anything. Like, I fully expect that during any NFL season, that if based upon my work, if there was someone that would be better served, the team would be better off in place of me to do that work, I should immediately be replaced. And I feel confident because he's saying and doing the right things. And from an organizational standpoint, we've said that it's unacceptable to say those words because, okay, well, we're not going to accept it. So he knows that, he's comfortable with that. It's not there's a good opportunity for Tyreek Hill to do what's best served for him in his career, and what's best served for the Dolphins is for everybody is him excelling. I have confidence that he's putting himself in that position, and the second that he gives me information that I should think otherwise, then we'll adjust.
On another level, we know he went through the wrist surgery. At what point will he be a full go? Will it be the starting training camp?
Oh, so there's and this was important in the process because we really wanted to have a good off season with him, and he prioritized that. So he made sure to be proactive, and the biggest thing is he's able to run. So that process we don't have to rush. And he will be able to do the things. There's so much in the receiver game in particular that all the technique and fundamentals that are critical to you doing exceptional has to do with your feet and not contact. He'll be in the off season. Won't rush it, so there won't be any setbacks, but he'll gradually work into catching the football and through that process, so that at the end of the off-season program, we should be able to get that work we are unable to this season before. But the key thing is he can run now. So there's a lot of participation available to him in the off-season program, which is the team and playing.
You had the Commanders training camp last year. I know you got your own job, but Goff and Quinn to the Commanders, and expect you guys to be in the international game.
Wait, pretty sure we're doing international, right? I think you know that. I don't. It's hard to keep track of what I'm supposed to say when I'm not. We will be in Madrid. I don't know against who, but I know as much as I could doing the job that I have about Dan Quinn's season last year because I was chewing at the bit for that opportunity for some time. I know what type of coach Dan Quinn is. I also know what type of general manager Adam Peters is working with him for 5 years in San Francisco, and I knew Dan was going to. He just really does things for the right reasons and is passionate about it. So he's been waiting for the opportunity. I couldn't wait for him to get it. I thought, what a perfect scenario, having worked there previous. Working for a fan or coaching for a fan base that truly appreciates what he has to offer. I just knew that was so I was expecting some positive returns. I don't think I could have forecasted it that quick, but I didn't rule it out either because they're building stuff the right way. And in the National Football League, starting from the top, when you have a good relationship, a good working relationship that's real between the head coach and the manager, and you're making decisions for a concerted right reason above board of ego and whatever. It's a matter of time, but I see success more often not in those situations. So I'm very fired up because he's a true, to me, Dan Quinn attacks the job the way organizations, the way fan bases, the way players are. He's going all in and doing whatever he can to help realize players' dreams, help play football games. So, huge Dan Quinn fan. If you didn't notice.
Mike, what do you expect to hear from Teron and Calais, and would Teron come back as a starter or as a reserve?
So, both guys are there's reasons they're some of our favorite guys. Great communication with both of them. Calais specifically, is in a unique situation where he's assessing, multiple options as a player in the 45th year of his career. So, I understand, and there's a lot of play in that with regard to, all right, so you're afforded that your play is high, you're deciding to play another year. He's assessing those options, and he's a very important. He was a very important player to the team last year, and I see him having the opportunity to be a very important player on the team this year. I also see within that position group, because of reasons of a competitive disadvantage that I mentioned before, I feel like we have some options at the position. He has some options. That position in particular has been, a focal point, of mine this offseason, and I feel good about how it should play out. There's a couple different scenarios that could play out. As well as Tehran, like I said at Indy, it's important for me to operate as though he is unavailable to us. He's a consummate professional that has earned this opportunity to figure out what he wants to do with his life. However, I do feel, in a reasonable amount of, I don't know, what's a reasonable time? Reasonably, let's say 2 weeks. I just feel there's he's getting closer to having conviction, but we're in constant communication.
Will he come back as a starter or as a reserve?
That's something that I think that will kind of be motivated by All right. The great thing about Toronto and I is we've had unbelievable amount of conversations about his body and how he feels, like that, right? And so I think they're tied into that, where he's at relative to other years and how we could realistically forecast it. I think that's going to kind of shape that the answer to that question, because it hasn't ever been about Toronto's play, right? It's been about how he's been available, and he's been straining to be more available for us than probably a counterpart would. He's played through a lot of stuff. And I think we're fortunate that we have a heavy amount of reps on the topic and to be able to have a conversation about what that looks like, because that will be clean when that comes, what he'll be coming back as, whether that and if he would be even able to compete to be able to withstand the Raiders' seasons.
Why do you have confidence that Zach Wilson is the right choice if Tua were to miss time as he has well done in recent years?
Well, I think it's layered. This was something that was on, our mind for a considerable amount of time, and it goes back to, everybody has a different circumstance. But we drafted a quarterback in San Francisco the year he came out. I watched every snap of his collegiate play, and he was a phenomenal talent that, in my opinion, didn't have reps in an NFL pocket. Like at BYU, he was launching it from about 10 or 11 yards deep, and you're not in the phone booth. And so, for my estimation, there was going to be some nuanced growth to his game that I think it is close to impossible to excel at that early in that new form of football that he was playing. That's powerful to me in that there's very few people that know what it's like to be drafted high in New York City. And so then to see his resolve, to see where he's digested the whole situation, and it's like anything for all of us. Okay? If you have adversity in your life, that can be a source of strength and growth, or it can be a source of, all right, that's what defines you and you can't get over it. What I see in Zach is the experience of being the second pick in the draft, being the starter week one, and then not fulfilling the rookie contract. That is behind him. So with that, to me, that's an exciting prospect. Because that's you can't put a measurement on that human ability that is huge at the quarterback position. Not comparing the players at all. On the record, not comparing the players. Tua found that this environment helped him through that process. As coaches, we want to offer literally everything to his game, and where he's at based upon him.
So why was this move not for a more veteran experience?
Well, to be quite frank, it's an inexact science, but we thought we was the best option. So, um, and I know, I think he was very, he was very much, I guess you guys wouldn't know this. I guess you guys are driving flying blind, so we took you out. He was a direct, calculated target. We thought that was a way that the Miami Dolphins could get better, and we're excited to see how he sees that opportunity.
Mike, has Steve Ross given you a minimum standard for this season for you to change the job, 9 wins, 10 wins, playoff win?
No. That would be a very unique conversation. No, I think it's important. I see the pattern of what it is to be a head coach and the responsibilities and the realities of it very clear. Mr. Ross has been only supportive to me, and ultimately, there's the way I look at it is I expect him to act on what I believe my position to be. Okay, so I'm not entitled to my position as a head coach of Miami Dolphins. And so, as we work together, he knows my expectation is to be the best person for the job. And, that can get convoluted. Was I the best person for the job? Last year we lost 1-1. We were 8-9. There's a bunch of variables in that. There's variables with success. I think Nick Sirianni was, I want to be on that hot seat. He was on last year. But what else would I expect? You're not entitled to position. Ultimately, if it's deemed that the organization will be best served with someone else, like I'm more on board with that than people realize. I think that's a natural part of it's why I didn't start. It's why I was able to not change when the same people are pointing out my failures were hyping me up through success. This is the fastest changing world in sports. Again, Nick Sirianni was on the hottest seat. But so if we had more closer to the season that we were chasing, if we won 2 more games, does that make me a different coach? I think it's important for me to do my job the right way, that I never look at any sort of entitlement to having the job. Just shame on me for everybody involved. And that I'm very comfortable in that. So every year, to me, if you're not feeling heat on the seat, you have the wrong urgency. It should be that way every year, because this is not my gift. It's an incredible responsibility that I only sign up for because I think I'm the best person on the seat, and it's as a matter of fact as that. So we don't have to have any of those weird conversations.
Coach, earlier you were talking about the free agency and 10 draft picks, and you alluded to the culture with both those subsets of players. Ideally, what does the ideal culture for the Dolphins look like to you?
Well, I think culture is defined by the human beings. I think what's unique, and I think could be something that I don't know if I investigated I could write about is that there's more roster turnover in the National Football League now. There's smaller veteran contracts, right? Or the smaller second and third year contracts. We're seeing a lot more 3 years or 2 years or 1 year. So how do you have a sustained culture? Well, it's by the people. Well, draft classes, not only have to be impactful year one, your draft classes are also your 4 to 5 year commitments that you have the ability to set the tonality of how your team is and the culture. So, to me, I was very happy with last year's draft class. And we're working, Chris and I are working day and night to make sure we have the same vigor about the opportunity with the 10 draft picks this year, because you're talking about 2 years, 17 players that you have a sustained process in a league where with parity it's all about development. So we're trying to get the right guys to develop as professionals, and their core value has to be team football, winning, and they really have to get joy out of that. That was a component that was consistent among the different personalities we drafted last year. All these guys were living and breathing football, and I think that's even more important as each team, all 32, have a unique exercise, and has changed in the last couple of years specifically, of having your football team having an identity that progresses while handling all the roster turnover that's natural with all these short contracts that people are signed up for. So it is, I think that the draft has always been fun. The draft has always been important. There's a unique twist to the draft now, as I see it, big picture. And it's very important that we not only take all the things that we did well from last year and that draft class, but we have 10 picks, so that we try to have as many contributors to our football team and our culture as possible with those draft picks that we're making.
Mention it. Play calling.
Well, I think it's super important as a play calling head coach that the only way that you can even enter into that sphere is to be properly assisted, because there's a merger, so to speak, of a couple jobs. Well, you can't do 2 jobs and be poor at both. So to merge those, there has to be a support system within the coaching staff that enables you to do that. And what that is are people that can see the game, that can see the game how you will see it, or anticipate how you'll see it, and really do a lot of front-end work so you can make your decisions that you normally do in a short amount of time. So what does that look like for me? Starting with Frank Smith, and then Bush Perry, and I added Bobby Slope. These guys, they should be able to tell me what personnel group I should be studying first. Where I used to have to figure out that the best personnel group to study was this. That deep in my process, they should be able to get me there. So now, examples like that. They have to be They have to be very adept at their job. They have to be self-starters. You can't do it without the right support, or you'll fail at both. And there is one place that you can't hide in the National Football League, and that's a play calling the head coach. You can't hide there. So you better be supportive.
Well, thank you, Coach. Hey, man, it was great. Appreciate you, Mike.